friends and fairy vintage. My name is Linda. I'm an energy intuitive reader here on YouTube. I use spirits, my intuition, the tarot to communicate energies to you guys. Fantastic viewers. I'm so blessed to be here today doing your reading. If you guys are new to this channel, welcome. And for those of you guys returning, welcome, welcome. I'm so grateful. And I do hope that these readings resonate for all of you guys today. You guys are all very safe and welcome in this space with me today. Today's reading, we're looking at a pick a pile, okay, pick a stone reading, option 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll be looking at the person on your mind and how they're feeling about you. We will be using just the anagram cards today, okay, which is this deck, to get a different sort of layer on feelings than we generally do with the tarot. And then we will be pulling some buttons as well to get an extra layer. So I do feel we should do an energy check just to make sure that we've tapped into the right energy. Now, piles sometimes come reverse, meaning your person's feelings will come through as the energy check, and then you'll come through on the back end as how you're feeling. Okay, if that's the case, you can certainly listen to the reverse pile, or you can go check out another pile and see if there's another layer to your person's feelings that pulls through. A lot of times, all piles could certainly be interconnected some way, in some fashion. Okay, so just use your intuition, what feels right, and never feel obligated to take messages that aren't for you. Okay, so beautiful angels, sit with these 4 piles options, and I will see you guys at your pick. Hello, gorgeous angels. Pile number 1, you guys pick this stone slab right here. Let's get into how your person is feeling, shall we? So first we'll take a look at your feelings and see if this is your pile. Now, like I mentioned, it could come reverse, meaning the front end is how your person feels and you're in the back end. Okay, you can certainly listen to that pile if you want. I can't help how it comes out, but don't take any messages that aren't for you. Okay, so let's ask Spirit for pile 1. How is pile 1 feeling at this time in this connection? How are they feeling about the person they came here about? Clear and concise message for pile 1. Please protect me and the viewer and this connection as I channel this message for the greatest and highest good of pile 1. Thank you so much, pile 1, for allowing me to tap into your energy, the energy around you at this time. I'm so blessed to be here doing this reading for you. I see your card right there. Okie dokie. How are you feeling about the person you came here about, pile 1? So we have excessiveness, greed for pleasure, debauchery, gluttony, insatiability, intemperance, stimulation, need. Type 7, the enthusiast, thinking center between pleasure and pain. Sin 52, or the number 7. Under that, we have aggressiveness. Let's keep going. We have assertiveness. Interesting. So card number 85, or 4 and 1. It says thorough action, positioning, decision, discipline, self-expression, and thoughtful action. Integration, growth level. Type 4, the individualist, emotional center, between lack and abundance. And we have submission, powerlessness, enslavement, fragility, weakness, and subjugation, dependency. Type 8, the challenger, instinctive center between strength and weakness. Basic fear, ego level 17. So it's kind of the opposite of this assertiveness and this aggressiveness. 44 is a master number. Integration as a foundation, treating the earth as home and a temple, manifestation, and leadership. We have fixation, ego level 39, or the number 3, vanity, arrogance, vainglory, pride, disdain, sufficiency, high self-esteem. Type 3, the achiever, emotional center between appearance and authenticity. Okay, 6 wands energy coming through with that. And we have loyalty 84, serving the collectivity, commitment, respect, devotion, faithfulness, hope, provider. Type 3, the achiever, emotional center between appearance and authenticity with integration growth level 84, 6 and 3, or 12. 12 is hangman, Pisces energy, and we have dispute 27, or the number 9. confrontation, villain role, quarrel, breakup, divergency, make a choice. Type 9, the peacemaker, instinctive center between forgetting and asserting oneself with avoidance, ego level. And we have planning, 43, or the number 7, escape routes, inventiveness, possibilities, projects, imagination, and improvisation. Type 7, enthusiast, thinking center between pleasure and pain, fixation, ego level. Okay, let me sit here with this energy. Beautiful angels, this is feeling very familiar to me from other readings. So I do feel that we are going to get an accurate read here for you guys so that you're honest with your own emotions. So give me a minute. Okay, how are you feeling? Not happy. Okay, and I think you're not happy because we are still an ego. The ego is our own understanding of something that we want to attain in this connection. We want this person to be a certain way, do a certain something, fill a certain void within us. Okay, and so I feel like we're needing to work through our understanding of what it means to completely feel love for someone without having an ego involved with what it is that is going to make me feel a certain way. Now, I don't feel like you have a bad intention so much here. I don't feel like you want to feel good. Who doesn't want to feel good? Okay, but the ego is the attachment we have to having someone make us feel better about ourselves. There's some pride here. Okay, pride is being stunted or hurt or bruised when somebody doesn't validate. And so I feel like you have a certain expectation of how you want to be treated that this person isn't fulfilling. Okay. And I feel like you're trying to get a hold of where this person fits in your world, because I do feel like a part of your soul food is dependent on how this person shows up. And I don't think you like that. You don't want to be in a submissive position to this person. You want to be free. Because obviously, if you're feeling this way, this means this person isn't providing you what it is that makes you feel loved, good, welcome, secure, safe, and all the wonderful things that you want to feel. So I do feel like you're navigating, trying to find your way and what it is you're supposed to be doing in this connection. So some of you guys are making or trying to understand a decision about whether you should stay. Some of you guys are deciding, how do I engage with this person? Some of you guys are trying to really master yourselves, master your emotions, not be slave to your emotions. Like I want to still engage with this person in a way here for some of you guys and keep my ego under wraps and understand how to engage with this person in a way that doesn't take me sort of under, or take a hold of my emotions in some way here. Now, some of you guys could be in a breakup or in a separation or feel very separate from this person. And it's like, I feel like there's resistance, there's avoidance, there's a not coming together. Some of you guys might be trying to plan how to move forward and away from this person. But it's like this person has a hold of you, or this person and this connection is something that needs to be sort of understood in some way, because you feel dependent on this person taking the role of whether, it's successful or not. And so it's like you want this person to be loyal to you or to show a level of commitment or a level of respect to you that will determine the outcome of this connection. But I feel like this person might have not have been stepping up, not showing their loyalty. And it's like, if this person can't be loyal to me or commit in a way here that shows their devotion, their appreciation, then I might have to plan how to move forward. I might have to plan leaving this person or breaking up with this person, or make a choice to just not make myself available. But I do feel like you feel under the thumb of this person, and you feel like this person is calling all the shots, and you feel like I don't know, there's something coming through about self-expression and like speaking your truth in some way here, but I do feel like there's hostile energies and it is coming from you. And I don't think you realize this, okay? Why is because when we feel let down or like someone isn't loyal to us, inside our energy field, we hold that energy of feeling disappointed or feeling, like this person who I've been loyal to or who I've submitted to or who I'm sort of dependent on here is making me feel weak and is not treating me in a way. So I feel angry. I feel hostile. I don't feel good, and I know we don't ever agree that we're angry or hostile. Every time I say we're resentful, I get comments that you're not angry or resentful, but it's coming through again. Okay, anything that's not expansive, the root is anger, is fear, is a negative polarity. It's not positive. So we can use any words we want. And so, but I feel like we might understand this. And I think you're trying to plan on how to, like I said, for some of you guys, it's like, how do I break free? I've had enough. I don't want to argue with this person. I don't like the way I feel. I don't want to be under the thumb of this person. And for some of you guys, it's like, okay, I understand I've been hostile or I've been wanting to be recognized. I want appreciation. I want to be validated because this is the 6 wands. Like you want to be celebrated, appreciated, and, seen by this person because it would make you feel better. But it's like, well, what are we providing to this connection and to this person? It doesn't matter if we're sort of loyal to them. It's like seeing it from what can we attain, So I feel like there is trying to figure out how can I engage differently where maybe there's less arguments or less anger, resentments, or, But I do feel like some of you guys want to be more assertive and not as ego driven or aggressive because there's a big difference between aggressive and assertive. And so we might have been right in our like wands energy, this is what I want, this is what I need, this is what you need to do, and I want commitment. And it's like very aggressive. And then feeling disappointed. And now understanding that there's assertive, there's decisions that need to be made and discipline and self-expression that comes through as thoughtful action that isn't stemmed from ego, and that we might have to submit in certain ways that maybe we're not used to, which might make us feel weak or make us feel like we're dependent on, how this person shows up. But I do feel like there's a lot of dependency on whether this person's going to make me feel happy. This is also 9 cups in the reverse. And so I feel like emotionally we're not satisfied. And I feel like we're really looking to this person to emotionally fill our cups, like a lot here. Okay. So we might feel very much aside from this person, somebody here who puts a lot of weight on relationship, who puts a lot of weight on how other people make us feel when it comes to romance and love. And it's like we can't get enough because we're not cultivating it from the inside. But I feel we're emotionally dissatisfied in this situation. And so there's a lot of shadow integration here with the number 7 being pulled back to the Chariot, which is about balance. Balancing our shadow parts in order to have success. So I feel like you're trying to plan to have success, whatever success means for you, whether it's breaking free from this connection, getting more empowered, speaking your truth, getting more assertive about what you want, and recognizing your own egos, your own pride, and what actually makes you happy, and trying to find your own self-esteem from within, not outsource it from this person. Because I do feel like there's been a lot of, like I said, resistance, anger, and potentially you feel this person's been avoidant or non-committal or not devoted, and you've been wanting this or showing a level of this, or maybe you communicated that this is what you want or need. So pile number 1, if this sounds like your energy, let us take a look at what your person is feeling at this time. So Spirit, thank you so much for that message. Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 1. How is the person they came here both feeling at this time? Right here, right now. Their feelings for pile 1. clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good. Please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message in a way that pile 1 will understand. Thank you so much, Spirit, for helping me channel this message. How is pile 1's person feeling at this time? We have 70 with collective plague here, predation, abduction, capture, trap, theft, obligation, and constraint. I'll read them in a bit. Okay, let's get them all out first. So pile number 1's person, how are they feeling? How is pile number 1's person feeling at this time? Spirit, clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile 1. Thank you so much, Spirit. And one more. Sliding out the bottom in the exact same spot you had it with planning. Interesting. So some mirroring going on. Okay, I gotta take my robe off because I'm getting very hot. So, bottom of the deck, we have protection, generosity, helper, love, listener, defender, fighting against injustice. Type 8, the challenger, instinctive center between strength and weakness. Integration, growth level, 89. 8 and 2. It's under that leader. It's under that anger. Okay. We have predation, abduction, capture, trap, theft, obligation. Constraint. Type 7, the enthusiast, thinking center between pleasure and pain. Faith with essence, 105. It says absolute certainty, loyalty, trust, belief, mysticism, and spirituality. Type 6, the loyalist, thinking center between mistrust and trust. Number 6 is lovers. I'm feeling Gemini energy coming through. Also Cancer here with number 7. So avoidance, ego level 21, failure, self-doubting people, deficiency, losing, defeat, bankruptcy, and lagging people. Type 3, the achiever, emotional center between appearance and authenticity. And we have 88. 88 is a master number. It's a higher calling that is grounded in self-awareness and reverence for life. Wow, and look at this scholar. Deep knowledge, visionary, realism, erudition, specialist, and concentration. Type 7 with the enthusiast, thinking center between pleasure and pain. 7 and 5. Integration. And we have basic fear, number 16, ego level with deprivation, psychic pain, shortage, lack, sadness, insufficiency, and physical pain. Type 7, the enthusiast, thinking center between pleasure and pain. So more Cancer energy. We have Tower energy as well. And 43, or the number 7. So we have lots of 7. 7, 7, 7 coming through. Been pulling through a lot in my readings lately. So 7s are all about faith, wisdom, which is interesting. We have faith here. Okay, reflection and understanding. 7's also Tower energy. Deconstruction of something. So we have planning, escape routes, inventiveness, possibilities, projects, imagination, and improvisation. Type 7, enthusiast, thinking center between pleasure and pain. In the same spot you had yours. So let me, okay, leader. I'm getting Aries energy as well. And we have anger here. Okay, let me sit here with this. Okay. Beautiful people. I have a feeling you and this person might be in a no contact, or there's like a really big space where this person seems like they're floating, untouchable in some way, you know? And they kind of are, because I feel like spirit's got a hold of this person. And this might sound a little bit like very layered here, so I hope you can follow. It's almost like there's spiritual work that's being done on this person. Okay? Because I feel like this person might have been going against potentially what they were being called to do, which could have definitely been in line with this connection. Okay. And there's a lot of healing I feel that's being done here. But in order to really heal and build up, there has to be a deconstruction. And I feel like the deconstruction here is what's happening. And so spirit is kind of keeping this connection protected, but also keeping this person in the energy here where they need to deconstruct this before they're able to have success in a connection or moving forward. There's a lot of past energies here that are attached to this person, that are holding this person sort of hostage, that are also not allowing this person to be present in connection, specifically this one that spirit knows about. So I don't think this is person sort of choosing to go rogue and avoid. Okay, but I do feel like there's an avoidance of this connection while this person's protected in order to deconstruct parts that aren't going to work. There's a lot of energy here that isn't conducive to a healthy relationship. And so there is anger showing up here. Okay, so this person could certainly have resentments or things in the past that are still holding this person hostage, that are sort of stealing this person's energy, that are limiting this person, that this person is having to work through and work with the divine and trust the divine before they feel they can, let something go in order to be free. Because I do feel like if this person were to engage in a connection, there would be failure. And you have experienced failure or a deficiency with this person, not that they're a failure, but that a coming together would fail. And so this is why there's this pause. And so I feel spirit's really coming through to explain to you what's going on with this person more than it is their feeling. Because how's this person feeling? I feel this person has not seeing so much yet, but we'll get into it. But I feel like what spirit's communicating here is why are they removed, and that this person has a purpose, a very deep purpose that's connected to the divine. And it could certainly be tied to this connection, because why are we seeing this? It's like something that becomes revealed to them or understood to them, like a soul's calling and purpose here. And a knowing that becomes visible once the tower deconstructs, once they connect to this energy that's been trying to show itself and connect to this person. But this person might have been too blinded by their anger or too blinded by things of the past or energy here, again, that were built on shaky ground, meaning they weren't real energies. They were energies we were hanging on to. And so we couldn't build on a wobbly tower. In order to build new, we have to deconstruct. And so I do feel like this person is feeling lack and could certainly be feeling deprived of connection. And it's like, why am I doing this? Or why is the divine sort of holding me hostage? So there is sadness, there's knowing that we're without. But I don't feel this person feels they're choosing to be without. I feel like this person is working with the divine to deconstruct why they have to be without right now. They are incapable. There's an insufficiency here of being able to show up and succeed. If this person were to show up, it would be in an energy that wouldn't have success. So I feel like this person is, like deconstructing so that they can come into their divine masculine here with leader, and really feeling Aries energy, emperor energy. Here we see Napoleon. So they have to walk away from what's emotionally not working in their world. And I feel like this is creating this 5, which is all about change and having to rebuild and conflict. And so there's a lot of conflict here. And it's almost like they have to go through this upheaval in order for them to align with love, in order for them to have success. And so this is the plan. This is the divine plan. This is what the divine is sort of doing with this person. But I do feel like for feelings, your person feels hostage, your person feels trapped or chained, or like they can't move forward. They can't go after any connection, you or any connection for that matter, because there's a lot of doubting people. There's a lot of hanging on again to this anger. And so it's like, if I can't trust people because I'm mad at the world or I'm irritable in general with just people, how can I be agreeable? How can I be workable? How can there be love and progress? I need to embody and integrate loving energies. But if there's things in place of that aren't healthy, then I can't integrate it. And so there's a deconstruction of that sort of thing. So there's a lot of understanding, like I'm feeling Hierophant energy from this scholar. That's Taurus energy, by the way. But it's like also High Priestess Hierophant, like spiritual knowledge, like spiritual smarts, spiritual understandings here that we're missing. So Pisces, this person feels spiritually connected to you. This person feels deprived of like your presence. They feel lacking. They feel sad. But they also feel stuck, trapped, and robbed of an experience. And so I think they're, amidst, right, like deconstructing, but also building. And I think they're happening in tandem, like a build of trust in the divine and in themselves as they deconstruct parts that are false, parts that can't sustain. And so I do feel like it's hand in hand, like as they drop one belief or one energy, another positive energy comes in its place that allows them to trust, that allows them to have, a belief in something greater than maybe what they've believed in the past. So I do feel like there's an intention here to find a way back to this connection at some point. But I think the energy is really focused around their well-being and their release and their deconstruction and their prison right now. There could be a lot of, like, I'm feeling 8 swords here, limitations when it comes to how to move forward because of their own beliefs that are limiting them. So they don't see a way forward to you. There's a lot of this sort of energy, like feeling like they failed you and they let themselves down and they're letting this connection down. But I feel like this person is being brought to rock bottom, if I got to be honest. I keep hearing rock bottom. We even have bankruptcy here, so some of them could definitely be physically like being robbed and stripped of people and things, It's a big wake-up call here. And so it's like to trust in the divine, to trust in the flow of where the divine is sort of trying to get this person to acknowledge, because maybe this person in the past could have been somebody here who avoided acknowledging the divine and really thinking that they were in charge, calling the shots. Again, this could definitely be like an egoic buildup of who we think we are at the expense of our authenticity. And so there's a lot of green, and green talks about the heart chakra. So I feel like this person is being really brought back to the heart chakra, which is all about unconditional love, love of self, love without any sort of unhealthy belief stories, attachments, or ways of being, where we could trust ourselves to love, to give love, and to connect to love. Because there might have been a big challenge when it came to this. So let's pull these buttons for you guys, beautiful people, and see if we can get more in regards to pile number 1's person. Absolutely love these buttons since I got them. You guys were like, oh my goodness, every reading Linda has her buttons. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Look at this. So we have leveling up with this gear. Okay, so this person's leveling up, and look, number 15, Capricorn energy, devil energy. So lots of devil energy. Devil has us bound. I was feeling 8 swords, but it could certainly be the devil. Okay, theft, trap, capture, abduction, constraint. Like the devil has a hold. And so this person's leveling up and freeing themselves from that in which holds them back. We have the cheese here, number 8. So let's read the cheese. It's almost like, when a mouse goes through the maze to get to the cheese? I'm getting a lot of like this person as having to go through a maze, you know, the spiritual maze, or do the work in order to achieve the cheese at the end of this maze. But it does feel very maze-like to this person. So 8 says Swiss cheese, cheesy, poor sense of humor. So I don't know, maybe this person does have a poor sense of humor, but I'm really feeling that mouse in the maze, and feeling at the mercy, you know, and like, yeah, it's really, yeah, it's so strong. It's like, you know how a mouse has really no agency because the scientist just puts it in the maze and it just has to do the thing, which I feel really bad for that mouse, you know, but it's like the divine is sort of making this person go through a trial and tribulation. And there's no escape. There's no escape here, you know. 63 with the claw. So this is like one of those claws that are in those games that pick up a ball. It's like dropping the ball. This person, not only did they drop the ball, which I feel they really did, you know, I feel like there was no way for this person to hang on to the ball. I feel like this person is lacking, or has been lacking, and this is what the divine is working with this person, in their ability to go after and like sustain and attain substance. But they have to be in a position to do this. Like their claw has to be functioning, you know? And I don't think that they were in a position to do that. So they definitely dropped the ball with you. And I think they realized they dropped the ball here as well. So we have number 1 with the crow. So this is all about communication. The crow gives us messages from other other worlds. And so I don't necessarily feel this person is going to message you right now at this time of this reading. Okay, we could do this reading later and maybe once this happens, but I feel like this is the divine communicating with your person. Like they're getting a lot of signs, symbols, synchronicities, messages from other dimensions here in regards to healing themselves and where to go in this maze. Yeah, they're really intuitively being guided and communicated to. I'm feeling Scorpio energy as well. Look at this, divine timing, being divinely guided. 17 is star energy, which is all about destiny. Aquarius energy, but yeah, divine timing. So this is divinely guided. I feel like if you haven't heard from this person, you're really being called to surrender to what the divine has in store, because this is what's freeing this person and guiding this person out of whatever state that they're in. And here we have the perfume bottle, number 80. So the perfume bottle could be talking about something very alluring, you know, it's like alluring us. And so I feel like this person is really pulled by your energy, very much in this like alluring state. But I'm also getting with the perfume bottle, ego, okay, kind of vanity. It's like, you know, when we dress up and we spray ourselves so that we can look good and smell good and like have an appearance and create an outer experience for others that isn't really originating from us. You know, I feel like Spirit's talking about the ego and this connection. And here we see the solar plexus. You, with how we described your energy check, for sure, you know, connecting to unconditional love without any sort of expectation. And this person having to love from a place of trust, and all of this heart chakra energy you're feeling with the green is like they have to shed the egoic self. And the egoic self of this person was, I'm the leader, I'm in control, I'm, you know, like really stemming from a place though that was unhealed, that was still bitter at the world or angry about experience that they had. And so nothing was going to get in their way. No one, nothing, a little ruthless energy. That's like learning something deeper, learning something spiritual, learning something that is unexplainable, that's beyond ego, you know, that humbles this person. But it's all the deconstruction here of this egoic self. And so I think there's a lot of pull you guys have between one another, passion between one another, but Spirit's talking about this is egoic. There needs to be working on the heart chakra. There needs to be leveling up in the spiritual realms. That's where the main substance can be attained. then we could play the game of, hanging on to something and getting the reward. But until then, I feel like we're having to navigate. And so this person's doing this. I feel like Spirit wants you to focus on what you're needing to do, like really understand yourself, where your ego sits, and fill your own cup. So this person feels defeated. They feel like they lost out, they missed out, they dropped the ball, and that they're deficient. Because I think Spirit's humbling them, showing them that they are deficient in the energy that they've been in. They cannot engage in a healthy way in that energy. So pile number 1, that's your reading. I hope that helped you. I'll see you at the next one. Bye-bye. Hello, gorgeous angels. Pile number 2, you guys picked this slab right here. Beautiful. Let's take a look at your reading, shall we? So we're looking at the person on your mind and how are they feeling about you right here, right now. But first, we'll take a look at your own energy and make sure you've tapped into your own, or to the right pile, I should say. Now, the reading could come reverse, meaning it could be your person's energy up at the front here in this energy check, and then your feelings on the back end. If that's the case, you can certainly listen to it and crisscross the energy as you see fit, okay? So we'll ask Spirit for a clear and concise message in regards to pile 2. And how is pile 2 feeling about the person they came here about? How are they feeling right here, right now, Spirit? What are their feelings at this time about the person they came here about and this connection? Please help me to channel this message in a way that pile 2 will understand. Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of this connection. And pile 2. Thank you so much, Spirit. And thank you so much, pile 2, for allowing me to tap into your energy, the energy around you at this time. I'm so blessed to be here. So we have get judged. I'll put them all out before I read the words on them. The number 10. We have strength, the number 8. We have fear with the number 51. How is pile number 2 feeling about this connection at this time, Spirit? How are they feeling? We have bipolarity, 58, and we have altruism, number 2. And how is pile number 2 feeling about this connection and about the person they came here about at this time? Thank you so much, Spirit, for this message. And we have anesthesia with number 36, or the number 9. At the bottom of the deck, we have ignorance, 23, or the number 5. Everyone's like, it's my person. I'm just kidding. Okay, so let's break it down. 23 or 5. What do we have? Well, I'm feeling Leo energy, Gemini, Virgo, Aries, Cancer, Pisces. Okay, so, and some Scorpio and some Libra. Sorry, I know lots of energy pulling through here. Okay, let me tap into this. What's under the ignorance? We have loyalty. And under loyalty, we have compartmentation. Ignorance. Okay, so first card, 10, number 1. It says get judged, get punished, get blamed, mistaking, being wrong, feeling guilty, get criticized. Type 1, the perfectionist, instinctive center between control and letting go. Compulsion ideal, number 8. This is strength, straight talk, vitality, fight, power, control, courage. Type 8, the challenger, instinctive center between strength and weakness. Card 51, or the number 6 here, with fear, sin, ego level. It says being afraid, anxiety, worry, dread, scared, apprehension. Type 6, the loyalist, thinking center between mistrust and trust. And we have bipolarity, 58, or the number 4, with manic depression, borderline, instability, versatility, inconstancy, emotional imbalance. Type 4, the individualist, emotional center between lack and abundance, with mental tendency. And we have compulsion ideal with the number 2, altruism, self-forgetfulness, self-sacrifice, love, devotion, generosity, being at service. Type 2, the helper, emotional center between giving and receiving. And we have 36 with defense mechanism, number 9, anesthesia with disconnection, insensitivity, numbness, obscuration, stupefaction, self-forgetfulness. Type 9, the peacemaker, instinctive center between forgetting and asserting oneself. Okay. Okie dokie. More Leo energy pull through here. And with this ignorance itself, it says intellectual disability, lack of culture, nothingness, interior void, uneducation, social engagement. Type 5, the observer, thinking center between interior and exterior. Interesting energy. So I think we have a lot going on internally. Okay. And I feel like our actions in this connection towards this person is really, really driven by our own perception of self, which I feel carries a lot of judgment. And we might really be sort of seeing ourselves in a certain way. And the driver here is fear when we boil it all down. Okay, fear of being alone, or fear of not being accepted, or fear of not being, loved, appreciated, fear of not having the protection of another, or a lot of anxiety that's caused by this. There's a lot of emotional energy that we're having to navigate and understand that I don't think we fully understand just yet. Okay, and I feel like, again, when I talk about ego, I'm talking about the attachment that we have to a certain identity or a certain mind story, a certain way of being that we connect to, that we need to address or acknowledge, because none of those stories are true and none of those attachments are true. But as long as we feed that attachment or that story or that belief, then we perpetuate an energy that might not necessarily help. It might create more paranoia. It might create more emotional instability. It might create more sadness, or it might create, like uncertainty in one moment and then feeling love in the next. Like, there's a lot of imbalance here. Okay. And so I feel like we want to be accepted. And I feel like you want to be accepted by this person. Okay, but I feel this is so driven by the subconscious, we don't even see it. And so I wanted to do an energy check so you would know that this is your pile. And so I do feel like how you would probably know is I feel like you're overgiving. You're self-sacrificing. You're devoting yourself to this person, and giving of yourself here. And you're really giving away maybe your own power, your own control. You might be fighting yourself, or judging yourself when you make certain moves or actions and saying, oh, you shouldn't have done that, or you're not loving if you don't do this, or there's a lot of criticizing your own action and engagement with this person. And I do feel like there's more weight on this person than there is on you, meaning you might not see yourself as having as much power as you do, or strength as you do, or control as you do, because of the fact that you might put this person in the position that has all the power, has all the control, because you want them to approve of you or love you or engage with you in some way here. So I feel like you're loyal to this person. And I feel like Spirit wants you to find loyalty in yourself through this connection, through experiencing this connection. You can find and see and mirror back to you your own actions, which might be really, again, driven by emotional outbursts or anxiety and being scared to be judged or do something wrong that this person won't approve of you or accept of you. And so Spirit's really asking about how you devote yourself to a situation, because I do feel like there's an over giving of self. We have devotion here and devotion here. And I feel it's at all costs. Like, you're committed, and there goes my email confirming, you're committed to this connection. And there's nothing wrong with being committed to a connection, but I feel like it's at the point of you not being seen. So this intuitively tells me that this person isn't either appreciating you or seeing you or making you feel welcomed or making you feel loved or making you feel appreciated. There is something we're wanting to validate through this connection that's not coming from this person, but we fear moving on, or we fear of letting go, or we're apprehensive about what would this mean, if I had to be alone or if I had to stand up for myself. So I do feel you feel alone. And I do feel like it might be very difficult if we're separated from this person, because there's an anxious attachment I feel here. And so when we are in separation, it's like we have high anxiety. We feel unsafe. We feel maybe like we need to cling to an external source to bring us protection, fulfillment. So we're a little bit out of control when it comes to our emotions, is what I'm saying. The emotions are really driving the bulk of this, and if we understand our ego, and if we become the observer, and if we actually see that our emotions are like peaking, we'll know that it's because of an unfound fear or belief and story and attachment that we are hanging on to. And the only reason we're hanging on to it or believe it to be true is because we want to be approved, accepted, and not judged, or we're judging ourselves for having that sort of way of being. So we feel guilty. We're carrying a lot of guilt if we choose ourselves. And so this could stem back, I'm not seeing it here, but stem back in the subconscious when we have a childhood where maybe we had to take care of a parent, or we had to take care of ourselves, and feel like guilty if we chose ourselves or put ourselves ahead of someone else in the family. It could have resulted in getting in trouble or like putting us out in some way. And so it's like, I feel there's a putting others before you or first, or fear of losing out, or fear of this person judging, like I said, or separation, or not being appreciated or valued, but you're already not being really valued here, because I do feel like there's you not being seen and you sort of being selfless to the point of overgiving, self-sacrificing. And so I do feel there's a need for figuring out how to love unconditionally, but it integrates into how do we love ourselves unconditionally and choose self in a way that's healthy so that we can learn about boundaries. Okay, so if you resonate with this, which might be a little challenging to see it in ourselves, but like I said, if we're overgiving and we're feeling like we're not seen and we're not getting what we want, it's because there's something here we're needing to understand there, okay? So let's take a look at pile number 2's person's feelings that Spirit. For pile number 2, the person on their mind, how are they feeling right here, right now about pile 2? What are their feelings at this time? Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile 2 and this connection. Please help me to channel this message in a way that pile 2 will understand. Thank you so much, Spirit. Thank you so much, pile 2. How is pile 2's person feeling at this time? So we have 25 with suffering, number 7, avoidance. It says emotional pain, frustration, sadness, boredom, limitations, restrictions. Type 7, the enthusiast, thinking centered between pleasure and pain. And we have 67, collective plague with negativity, systematic refusal or systemic refusal, opposition, hostility, rejection, resistance, denigration. Type 4, the individualist with emotional center between lack and abundance, or the number 4. And we have amorality, not immortality, amorality, 66, collective plague. It says bad inclination, crushing other, pretending, lack of values, money extortion, immediate profit. Type 7, the achiever, emotional center between appearance and authenticity. So 66 is a master number. It's about service as a source of joy in which one pours from an overflowing cup and not martyrdom, which we were really getting from your energy. Okay, 61 with narcissism, self-obsession, egocentrism, self-love, selfishness, navel-gazing, and self-adoration. Type 7, the enthusiast, thinking center between pleasure and pain. Or the number 7 again. Seeing lots of 7s in my world. And we have protection, 89, generosity, helper, love, listener, defender, fight against injustice. Type 8, the challenger, instinctive center between strength and weakness with integration, 89, or 8 and 2. And finally, we have 96 with virtue, growth level, courage, facing your fears, audacity, daring, bravery, boldness, and soul strength. Type 7, the loyalist, thinking center between mistrust and trust. And at the bottom of the deck, we have serenity, 91, virtue, growth level, non-judgment, appeasement, patience, sweetness, soul, equality, acceptance of feelings. Type 7, the perfectionist, instinctive center between control and letting go with a 1. Okay, so some Emperor, some Cancer energy, and some Aries, and some Gemini, some Virgo, and some Aquarius energy and feeling. Okay, let me tap into this thing a little bit here because this is interesting. Serenity, under that we have aggressiveness, combat, revenge, anger, hostility, wickedness. Okay, this is like the true like empath and narcissist sort of dynamic going on here, okay? And yeah, those that follow me here, I never call anyone a narcissist. We all have narcissistic type tendencies on a scale. Certain areas of our narcissistic tendencies come out, okay? And this is coming out as this narcissism here. Self-love, selfishness. So I feel like, again, we're all on different scales. This person is self-absorbed. They're going to take because in their energy field, it's about them and what they can keep and attain. So they might have the opposite upbringing here where it's like, if I don't keep, if I don't take, if I don't fend for myself, I am left or without. Okay, so I have to develop this sort of an energy where it's like me against everyone else. Okay, and it's like a mindset here where it's automatically assuming the worst. So this person could carry this sort of a mindset for quite some time, seeing the worst possible outcome or the worst in people, or people are out to get the worst of you, or, you know, that sort of thing. And it's like, get them before they get me. I'm going to profit as best as I can. I'm going to build myself. And so, as we know, when we have that sort of an attitude, it stems from a lack mindset, because I don't have enough. I got to take from other people, or I got to be ahead, and I got to do everything I can in my power, you know? And what's this person experiencing? Suffering, emotional pain. Okay, so I feel like this person, because the more we cling, the more restrictions we have. Because when our hands are full, clinging to something and hanging on, we're unable to accept what's coming in. And so I feel like you might be offering certain things that this person cannot accept. And they can't accept because their hands are full, clinging and hanging on to the stories that make them feel like it's a fight or flight here, and I better fight. You know, fight anyone or anything. And it doesn't matter if you're, you know, have a good intention or whatever. If you're sort of in my world, it's only me. And so I do feel like Spirit is talking about this person working through this sort of a lesson, or this sort of an understanding here, to face their fears, because at the root of this, they're going to have to be brave enough to trust. another, that not everyone is out to hurt them, harm them. And so this is going to take a lot of courage that I feel this person is working their way through. Okay. And so I do feel like Spirit is talking about, this person having to work through what it means to be generous, what it means to be loving, what it means to listen, what it means to right any wrongs that they have created here through an experience here of working with their courage and finding peace and accept their feelings rather than resist and fight. Because I do feel like this person, their inclination here is to be, like I said, aggressive and fight and resist and be hostile. And so your connection is showing this person serenity. Your connection is actually allowing this person to work through some of this stuff. And so I do feel like if we can't find balance within ourselves, we suffer at the hands of someone like this. Okay, but we suffer because we are allowing ourselves to suffer because we have the choice to engage or not engage, or how we engage. And I feel like Spirit wants you to know how you engage is really what we're trying to figure out here. Spirit isn't saying don't engage because this person's a narcissist, but Spirit is saying mirrored back to you is the opposite of what this person is. You give more and this person's a taker. And so the more you're going to give, the more they're going to take. So who is really needing healing? Both people are needing healing. Both people are suffering. Both people are emotionally needing to resolve this sort of thing. And so I feel like Spirit is talking about there being divine protection. Okay, but we might be experiencing in the emotional body suffering still. And so we might think, well, this person isn't suffering because they're getting what they want. No, Spirit's saying they are suffering. Because imagine having to cling and hang on and fight and think everyone's against you and have that sort of get them before they get me attitude, not just with you, just with everyone in general. That's a suffering. And so your person is suffering and they're having to be shown this. And the more you are in your energy, it's like the more apparent that they're in this energy. Because if they're not shown a mirror, they don't understand this about themselves, then they'll never really have a chance to be courageous to face and confront this part of themselves. So they're confronting parts of themselves right now that I feel have been the way this person has been or has adapted to cope. And I feel like this has been the main restriction in this connection. It's been limiting this person to move forward. And I do feel like this person, just like you, also carries judgments, But their judgment is like everyone out there is potentially going to hurt me or is going to take advantage of me or is going to, see the worst in people here. It's a very sort of negative mindset. Whereas Spirit is saying this person is having to work through non-judgment and having to work through patience and acceptance, and even the soul equality is they're not on a different sort of level than other people here, but it's they want to fight for position. I do feel there is an arrogance coming from your person that does feel like they're better than a lot of people. And so I don't know necessarily if they're getting humbled from this thing, but it's I do feel like for some of you guys, they might know, what they're sort of doing here in this connection. It's not that they're blind about it. And it's kind of going along with this, getting what they want. And so this is why I feel as Spirit's really saying it's important for you to learn about healthy boundaries. Because I do feel like this person is sort of knows when to play victim and knows how to sort of pull at your strings here and extort you for emotional food, so that they could fill their bucket. Because I do feel like this person needs someone to fill them as well. And I feel you're filling this person up. By polarity, which you got. instability, borderline, versatility, inconstancy, and emotional imbalance. And we have denial, 35. Reality, denial, disapproval, refute, negotiation, avoidance, and refusal of weakness. So I don't think this person fully sees how they're behaving here in a way that is creating the dysfunction fully. And I feel like Spirit's really talking about once the mirror of your reality shifts, this person's reality will shift. Because if you continuously give, there's no need for this person to lean into courage or to shift or to do anything. So the contract here is about you understanding your own egos, fears, attachments, and emotions, and when they're driving, and regulate yourself. And this might create some sort of tailspin with this person's energy, but I feel like it's a tailspin towards having to sit with a part of themselves that in the past they might have just refused to acknowledge or see. It's like, I'll just move on to what does make me happy. If this person or the situation doesn't, then I'll just carry on. But I don't feel this person can carry on or move forward or do any of that, because I do feel like this person is going to be forced to look at themselves and deal with the part that they've been in denial about, which is this behavior that has been very, self immersed in this selfishness that is creating pain and suffering in the dynamic with people who love them. And I do feel like this person might get quite aggressive, and be a bully when they know our soft spot. But I mean, it doesn't have to be outright aggressive. It could just be like where we're weak or where we're soft. It's like this person has energy that can dominate and get their way, like maybe play victim, or there's really this extortion I feel here, pretending extortion. It's like, oh, I'm sad, or I'm this, or I'm that. It's like, that's aggressiveness. It's like, I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling mad, I'm feeling whatever. And it's like pulling at your heartstrings in some way, or your empathy or your sympathy. But at the same time, this person is hostile towards anyone or anything, and is opposing anyone that isn't themselves. So, oh my goodness. So buttons flying. We'll read these since they flew out aggressively. But how they're feeling. I feel they're not happy because they are in a negative mindset, and so they're not enjoying the serenity. They're not enjoying because it's always game time. Okay, so the star came out. This is a positive button because it talks about getting our wish, and it talks about making a wish when you pull this. So pile 1 also got this. If you want to make a wish, okay, we will use the collective energy here to get your wish, whatever wish you're wanting, But stars, Aquarius energy, this could talk about our vision for a future, a wish fulfillment, something we'd like to attain. So let's see. We have divine timing. This also came out for pile 1. Interesting, with the wings, the destiny with the star. So it's like you guys have been brought together, by the divine. And this isn't encouraging an empath narcissist type dynamic here, because this is certainly what's going on, but it's divinely orchestrated in order to mirror certain things. And so the divines really got to the control of this, but I feel like both you guys are divinely protected here. But we have to lean into our courage, and we have to be our own mirrors, and we have to know when we are putting up the ego. The divine doesn't have the ego. It's the self. Okay, the veil of who we think we are, the attachments, the emotional stories that we hang on to, that has nothing to do with the divine, and all to do with what we're being called to see through as an observer. And so I feel you're being divinely guided to call this out. Star, and then 17, which is star. So a lot of Aquarius. Star again is healing, and more healing throughout this experience. But I also feel like it's talking about this destined experience here that's unfolding. So strawberry talks about something being very sweet with the number 69. So let's see, what exactly does it say here? So 69 is also a very sexual number here. So it says purity, love, and sweetness. And look, sweetness coming through even here. So there is a sweetness here that could be attained. It really can be attained when we find serenity, when we find balance, when we heal these parts of self. And we can heal this as much as you can heal your overgiving. If you say, oh, once a narcissist, that's it. No, it's a coping mechanism. And people use different ways to cope, And so with the sevens here, talking about faith and wisdom, reflection and understanding. It's also chariot, which is integration of shadow. And I feel like the healing is like really the integration of that shadowy part in order to have success and find balance in this connection. So we have the kite, 31, or the number 4 coming through again, which is about stability. This is emperor energy. The kite talks about gaining a higher perspective. Could even be talking about ascension here. So 31, it says specifically for the kite, higher perspective, astrological chart formation, fate, and destiny. So destiny, fate, and destiny. Okay, higher perspective. So if we're right down to the weeds of it, experiencing the 3D version, then this is all we sort of experience and see. So there's a need to rise up, okay, connect to a higher state of consciousness. So we have the bullseye here with the number 60 or the number 6. So it's like choosing the right decision in order to get the right results. Obviously, bullseye means the accuracy of something, but I'm getting like 6, which is about the lover's the choice. It's like we always have a choice. We could choose love or we could choose the fear. And when we choose fear, we stay in this sort of timeline. When we choose love, we sort of shift destiny. We raise our consciousness. And I feel like there's a need to choose wisely in order to get accurate results or successful results for both of you guys. But I feel like if you shift your decisions and your choices, the results or the actions would be different here. There'd be success. So it's really putting it back on your choices. 43 with this fairy. So fairies could talk about magic. Let's see, what's 43 here with the fairy? It says magical things and fairy-like spirit. Yeah, being guided by spirit, like really this is the more ascended version, not the emotional body that's like has anxieties and fears and is clinging to not wanting to be abandoned. And that's not really magical fairy type energy. This is like trusting divine output, So here we have the mushroom with 75. So I feel like this is talking about everything being interconnected here. You and this person being very interconnected, but I'm also getting the toxic mushroom. And so this could become very toxic very easily. And it's not good. And I think we've experienced the toxic side of this connection. And so Spirit says, now we recognize what it doesn't work or what is toxic so we can identify it, like when we go picking mushrooms, it's like, if we've picked this mushroom before and it wasn't good, okay, well, we would die if we picked a toxic mushroom, but you know what I'm saying, right? And we tried it, it was toxic, it wasn't good, it was poisonous, didn't leave us feeling well. Why would we pick it again? Why would we do it again? We got to start questioning, is this the right mushroom? Is this the right choice that I'm ingesting, that I'm doing, that I'm choosing? And so I feel like we're needing to choose differently. Okay, hang out to dry with the clothes on the clothesline. 22 is a master number. Peacemaker, diplomacy, healthy, energetic boundaries, and divinely guided relationships. Again, divinely guided relationships. So being left out to dry. I feel like a lot of you guys feel like this person is leaving you out to dry. They're not. Okay, they're not. You are making decisions that leave yourself out to dry. This person doesn't owe you anything. and this person isn't going to give more when you give more. It's not how it's working. Okay, and so we have to understand why we're giving love and why we're energetically pouring into someone or a situation, and look at ourselves and see, why are we picking those decisions? It stemmed on fear. It stemmed on some form of outcome. It stemmed on some form of fear. Something we need to acknowledge and something we need to rise above and see from a greater perspective. Okay, you're being divinely guided and protected to have this sort of healing. You're fated to experience this thing. Okay, but I feel like it's really calling you to observe this and to engage differently. Pile number 2, this is your reading. I hope this helped you. I'll see you at the next one. All right, bye-bye. Hello, pile number 3. You guys picked this stone slab right here. Let's get into your reading, shall we? So we're looking at person on your mind and how are they feeling right here, right now about you and this connection. Before we look at them, we'll look at your feelings and tap you into this pile to make sure you pick the right pile. So pile could come reversed, meaning this could be how your person's feeling on the front end and then your feelings on the back end. So you might need to crisscross it if that's the case, but do not force messages to fit, okay? I don't know why energy comes reversed sometimes, but it just does. So that's how it is. So let's ask Spirit for a clear and concise message for beautiful pile number 3. And how are they feeling right here, right now about this connection, the person they came here about? How are they feeling? What are their feelings right here, right now in this connection between them and the person on their mind that they came here about? How will they know that this is their pile? Thank you, spirits. Please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 3. Thank you so much, pile 3, for allowing me to tap into your energy, the energy around you at this time. I'm so blessed to be here doing your reading. Okay, let's take a look. We have Essence 103, growth level. It says origin, background, source, birth, family, ancestry, bloodline. Wow. Number 4, type 4, the individualist, emotion center between lack and abundance. Okay, and we have megalomania with mental tendency 62, stress level, unbound ambition, insensitivity, paranoia, sociopathy, desire for glory, excessive self-importance. Type 8, the challenger, instinctive center between strength and weakness. Number 8. And we have 92, virtue with growth level, humbleness, clear vision of your values, modesty, realism, respect, gratitude, and rightful place. Type 2, the helper, emotional center between giving and receiving. So number 2 here, or the number 11. 11 is a master number, divine inspiration, synchronicity, and the encouragement to keep going. Okay, and then we have envy, 49, or the number 4. So perpetual dissatisfaction, jealousy, greed, desire, longing, and comparison. Sin, ego level. And it says type 4, the individualist, emotional center between lack and abundance. Okay. And we have laziness, number 54, sin, ego level, passive attitude, indolence, apathy, inertia, inaction, sluggishness. Type 4, the peacemaker, instinctive center between forgetting and asserting yourself. Number 9. And we have depression, self-destruction, desperation, jealousy, pessimism, resignation, and suicidal urges. 73 with the disintegration, stress level. Type 1, the perfectionist, instinctive center between control and letting go. Okay, 4 and 1. And we have temperance, 97, virtue, growth level, moderation, sobriety, realism, restraint, simpleness, rooted hope. Type 7, enthusiast, thinking center between pleasure and pain. It's number 7. Okay, so Sagittarius energy coming through. Some Cancer, some Aries, some Pisces, some Leo, some Virgo. Okay. Here's my email. Let me sit here with this energy. So under the origin, we have pleasure, relaxation, joy, and we have autism under that, turning inward, schizophrenia, isolation, distance, introversion, and confinement. What's under that? Narcissism, self-obsession, egocentrism, self-love, selfishness, navel-gazing. Okay. Okay. Just give me a minute to sit here with this. Okay. I don't know if this is you or your person, you guys, but I got to read it the way it's coming through here. There's a lot that's coming through as, like with this origin, it's like we could be born with some form of, I want to call it a disability, but it might just be something that's not regulated in a way here that allows us to engage in a balanced way. Okay, because I do feel like there's a paranoia here with the schizophrenia and this like energy that might be creating a lot of discomfort with this person when it comes to connections. Okay, and so I don't know if it's metaphor or symbolic of something. So let's peel this back as we can. I feel like this person is not in a good place, and it's emotionally getting this person to be very self-defeating, victimization of self. Okay. And I feel like it's because this person feels like they can't measure up. And so I'm reading it as this person because I don't know that this is you or your energy. And I don't feel like for a lot of you guys it is, but it's like not measuring up. And it could be because I have this disability or I have this way about me, but it's like, we know of people who have autism who can have functioning relationships, or people who have certain disabilities who can engage in healthy ways. I feel like there's something that is creating dissatisfaction and feeding this person's victim story, in which this person doesn't fully see the what's it called? They don't see their value. They don't see the world from what can I be grateful for and that sort of thing. So it's like seeing already what's not working and what's wrong, and mostly about them, and then everyone else has it better. And so I do feel like this person might have a very tumultuous sort of upbringing here with their family, or like I said, it could just be this I don't know what to call it because I've never really read for this sort of an energy, but if we were born with some form of a disadvantage when it comes to maybe thinking, or just thinking differently, it creates a hurdle and an obstacle. And this person has an energy here of like sort of giving up on themselves because their distaste and like how they feel about themselves compared to other people is so great that it's like, I don't even want to engage. It's really limiting them from this. But they might have carried this for some time. And so now it's like they believe it so strong and they've built themselves up. And so this victim identity is now stronger than they would without that victim story. So now at least they have some substance to them, And without that, they would be even more sort of helpless or hopeless. So it's like I carry this understanding of myself because it helps me to protect myself. And they're disinterested in engaging in connection or doing anything here. And they might engage in like, just things that might feed them in the moment, but it doesn't help progress them. And it just reinforces their victim story or their belief of themselves. And if anyone tries to maybe help this person or tell them what's what, it's like they don't want to believe or work with anybody else because you're robbing them of that story that they want to be dissatisfied, because it's not even a want. They think that they're, what it's giving me? It's like if we got brought up with like a family that might have not have had a lot to give, and then it's like we believe ourselves to be less than, and everyone else who has money is like dad, and it's not necessarily about money, but it could definitely be this, like everyone else is like got handed their riches and they're bad, and no one understands my struggle. It's a big victim mindset here. And so it's like I cling to this story as being very important to my identity. And I want to be seen for this story so that people can see something about me. If you empathize with my story or my disability or my challenge, then I have something to offer. Then I have something. But if you don't know about my story or my upbringing or this thing, and then it's like, then I'll have nothing. And so I'd rather just not even engage. But at the root of this, it's like this person wants to be welcomed and wants, like that analogy I used of the person who was brought up poor. It's like, but they wanted to be a part of the rich family or have those things, but now they're sort of sour or angry about it. And it's like, I don't know, like the opposite here. But I don't feel this person is happy in that mode. I think this person is envious. I feel this person is comparing a lot. I feel this person is depressed by their own sort of results because it's not really resulting in profiting them and engaging like fulfillment. It's not fulfilling. And so I do feel like this person is having to work through balance or being in an energy to be able to be workable. But they might have lost hope in themselves or their capacity or their ability to be a provider, to add quality or to contribute something of substance here that they feel they don't have to offer or can never offer. And so they might as well just go rogue the opposite way. It's very interesting. I don't know. Let me pull some of these for you guys. I didn't in the other ones. But I just want to see about this connection. Like if this isn't you, and it's your person, I mean, it could be you, but what is this about? Spirit for pile number 3. What is this connection about here that pile 3 will know that this is indeed their pile? I mean, if you sat through that, someone in this connection. So we have the waffles, and it's like waffling on something. When we waffle, we go back and forth. 52. Okay. And here we have medication, and it's like the happy pills. But it's something about, remember I was telling you there's some like this said autism, so it could definitely be autism, but and schizophrenia. We even had through one of these schizophrenia, sociopathy, like maybe something is chemically out of balance in this person's chemistry, maybe they're heavily medicated or they medicate themselves, because we were seeing pleasure. And it's like They might distract themselves with like pills or drinking or distractions. It's like, I want to feel happy. This takes me to my happy place. There's the waffling again, like I said, and the perfume. So this is something alluring, something that might smell good, but it's also covering up something. So maybe this is how they cover up, with this story, or they cover up with distraction. There's something covered up here, the truth. So 42 and this figure 8, which is like an eternity, but it's like a road that never ends. It's not getting anywhere. It's not getting anywhere, this covering up and this energy. And even with this waffling, because I was feeling like waffling could be yes, no, but it doesn't get anywhere because it's not really committal. So it looks like it moves, but then it goes backwards. One step forward, one step back. And so it stays stagnant. I'm getting 2 pentacle again. I don't have the resources. I can't prioritize. I can't give. Less than. And here we have the lemon. So soured. So I'm soured by an experience. I'm soured by the populace. I'm soured by relationships. This is soured energy, 58. And we have the bananas, number 7. I think the bananas are positive. What's the bananas here? Monkey business? What's this crazy? Oh my goodness. So crazy in the literal sense. I mean, we have schizophrenia, like somebody's mentally crazy here. And they might take medication, we call them crazy. Like there's no judgment here, but it really could be a mental imbalance, a mental disorder, something that needs real medication. Now, I don't believe in medication, but you guys can believe whatever you want, but I'm not saying this person needs to be medicated, but I mean, real medication, like not covering up, like real resolution of it, the medication through whatever means, not necessarily pills, but I feel they're covering up. It's not good, you guys. I don't think I've read this energy before. So I know we have a lot of new subscribers here. It could certainly be dealing with a crazy person here. Somebody who's soured, somebody who, whatever. But if this is you, like, I'm not calling you crazy. I'm just saying I am calling you crazy, I guess. I don't know. Take what resonates here. That's what's coming through here. Okay. So spirits, pile number 3's person they came here about. How are they feeling? Pile number 3's person they came here about. How are they feeling right here, right now? Clear and concise message. Please help me to channel this message in a way that pile 3 will understand. Thank you so much, spirits, for this message. Please protect this connection as I channel this message for the greatest and highest good of pile 3. Please protect pile 3 from whatever crazy stuff's gone on here. It does sound very, I don't know. I don't even know where to go with this, you guys. It's beyond spiritual. It's really physical, and I don't deal a lot with the physical. I'm generally dealing with spiritual. I mean, everything's spiritual, but when we have physical chemical imbalance, it's like, how do we fix that, But I do feel like there's experiences of the past, and there's also, it's like very layered. And then we are feeding that victim story or that disability of ours and using it as the crutch or the reason or the thing. So we have ignorance here with intellectual disability, lack of culture, nothingness, interior void, uneducation, and social engagement. Type 5, the observer, thinking center between interior and exterior. Avoidance, 23. Are we avoiding this person's problems or what? Mental tendency, 57, stress level with mythomania, imagination, conspiracy, trickery, hypocrisy, storyteller, and workaholic. Number 3, type 3, the achiever, emotional center between appearance and authenticity. Okay, and then we have 56, mental tendency with hysteria, excessive emotion, simulation, delusion, agitation, overexcitement, affective dependence. Type 2, the helper, emotional center between giving and receiving. Okay, and then we have fixation 45, ego level with self-forgetfulness, self-cancellation, compromise, adaptation, concession, self-neglect, forget your needs. Number 9, type 9, the peacemaker, instinctive center between forgetting and asserting oneself. And we have altruism, number 2, with compulsion, ideal, ego level. It says self-forgetfulness. Interesting, because we had forget your needs. Okay, self-forgetfulness, self-sacrifice, love, devotion, generosity, being at service. Type 2, the helper, emotional center between giving and receiving. Another 2. 2s are all about balance, duality, choices. So we have rigidity, 55, stiff upper lip, harshness, OCD, austerity, inflexibility, intolerance. Type 1, the perfectionist, instinctive center between control and letting go. 55 is a master number. Change is the only constant, divinely orchestrated change. Interesting. We have OCD here, which could certainly be, again, some form of mental tendency that's created here in the physical body. So we have 12, basic fear, ego level, feeling invaluable, get rejected, anonymity, defeat, failure, poverty, and unfortune. Type 3, the achiever, emotional center between appearance and authenticity. Okay, so we have Taurus energy, we have Virgo, Gemini, and Pisces coming through. Okay, doesn't have to be your sun, moon, rising, but I say you, whatever this person that I'm reading. And we have assertiveness under that. Okay, you guys, I don't know. It might not even be like a love. It could be dealing with, a child, a parent, a person who is mentally disabled or crazy in our world. And this is pulling through as a message to you. I feel I'm reading for this person, but you could flip it as I say. This person might have to, nobody has to do anything, but I feel like they feel they have to support that person, It could be that it's a child or it's someone who we feel responsible for, but we feel so responsible and we're putting ourselves completely in the back seat. And in some cases, we're not even addressing our own needs. We're neglecting ourselves through the act of engaging with somebody like this. Okay, this is very different than just overgiving. I feel like this person's behavior is actually destructive. And you, if this is you, putting up with this sort of energy, doesn't matter if it's like something they can't help because it's like a mental thing. It's like you're neglecting your own self and your own safety and your own needs by ignoring what needs to really actually get looked at and dealt with. Now, this doesn't mean we fight fire with fire or we get equally crazy or we start to act in a way that doesn't make logical sense, but we need to be assertive in how we are engaged with that person. Like, are we getting them the help they need if that's our position? Okay, now if we're not in a position to make anyone go get help, it's like, are we getting the help we need if we feel like we have to engage with somebody like this? I feel like we're ignorant to the fact that we're being abused in some way here, emotionally abused or neglected. We neglect ourselves because of the engagement. I feel like we might be in a little bit of it's coming through very strong with the ignorance here and this even storyteller and hypocrisy, trickery, and this delusion. It's like we want to believe something about this person, or maybe we want to see the best, or we think that what we're doing is helping. Okay, but I don't feel Spirit is saying it is. Okay, we might be very emotionally developing some form of codependency on this person's illness or this person's weakness or this person's craziness. Okay, I'm just reading cards and how it came through, or those buttons. Okay, I'm not calling them crazy. I'm channeling. So just making that clear. So there's something within ourselves here, okay? And I do feel there's a lot of love. I feel like this person, and I'll read it as you because that's how it's coming through for me to channel. I feel you have a lot of love, a lot of devotion here towards wanting to see the best. And feelings towards this person. But I feel like if this person were all healed, and if that thing was not in place, we might feel differently. So I don't know if we're in love with the story, if we're in love with the codependency, if we're in love with being the rescuer and somebody is being victim. Okay. And so I feel like we're not being seen. We're not seeing ourselves even correctly. And so I feel like we're having to maybe face something we're not wanting to face. Okay, we might have to admit defeat even. And defeat doesn't necessarily mean like I lost, so much as admit defeat where we cannot make progress because it isn't in our wheelhouse to do anything. Okay, and accept sort of things as they are. Because maybe, and if it's like a child too, it's like if I accept that this person is ill or this, it's like validating it or confirming it in some way. So we can just pretend that it's not a thing, but it doesn't help it. It doesn't progress it. It doesn't allow us to position ourselves in a way that is winning. And so I feel like this person needs a voice, and it's like to hear their own voice, to understand what their inner voice is wanting them to do. But I do feel like this person is really fixed on delivering a type of rescuing or service to that other person. And all this person is doing is enforcing that victim story. It's fueling that fire. It's not depolarizing it. It's not making it any better. It's making it worse. And when I say worse, just like it's invigorating that victim story. It's getting out of control. And so I feel like this person might get overly in their mind about how it could go bad. If this person, I don't know, there's like a lot of built up on the what ifs. And so I'll just sort of keep doing whatever I'm doing here. But there's a lot of what ifs and believing these what ifs. No, you guys, this is an interesting one. Knowledge, understanding, expertise, skill, adhesion, and education and specialization. So I feel like there needs to be a professional. And I've never read a pile like this out of all of my readings, like an actual professional. Okay. Like a counselor, a psychiatrist, a psychologist. And if you can't control that, then maybe this person needs to go see some counseling on how to deal with, it could be dealing with, what is that called? People with substance abuse, like maybe this person has an addiction to the medication. And so it's like, how do we deal with someone with substance abuse? But we need to fill ourselves with the right knowledge, and we need to accept and understand this, that when we're doing something that is adding to the destruction of something or the erosion of someone's strength, or if we're adding and propping them up and building them up so that they can fight whatever this is, we have to get equipped. And so Spirit's talking about getting the specialists here involved, or the right information, so we could deal with the things in the right way rather than ignoring it, pretending like it doesn't exist, or continuing as we are in some form of story or fantasy of how we wish it would be. But we're definitely like sacrificing our own happiness, neglecting our own needs. There's a lot of turmoil that we are experiencing, and it's not helping anyone, enabling. Okay. So we have equanimity, depth of feelings, detachment, calmness, sensitivity, stabilized mood, and emotional mastery. So this emotional mastery is opposite of this excessive emotions. Okay, overexcitement, stabilized mood. So this is coming through for some of you guys. If you resonate with the first part, okay, I feel like the first part, even the second part, could still be tied to the same person. And it's really talking about getting the help you need, that there's an imbalance, a chemical imbalance here that we might not realize. Okay, so in the first pile, we were getting like depression, suicidal thoughts. Okay, if you're experiencing any of that type of stuff, like I have information in my description there where you can call for help, but I feel like we need to get professional help, and we need to find a regulation here. And again, I'm not one that says people need medication or don't need medication. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, nor do I do anything with medicine. Okay, I mean, there's herbal medicine. I do encourage herbal medicine, meditation, okay, like natural homeopathy. That's what I would encourage. But there is something imbalanced here. There's a need to stabilize one's emotions. And so I feel like if this is another person, like I was reading, taking care of the person who's imbalanced, it's like this person needs to regulate their emotions so that they could be strong and they can enable themselves to deal with somebody like that if they need to, or strong enough to detach themselves. But they have to detach from the enabling, detach from the codependency, detach from the stories, stable their own emotions, start recognizing their own self in a way of what they need instead of sticking to how they normally engage. Because I feel like there's a very rigid way that this person engages. That's like, I got to be following this plan, So let's see, Spirit, for this group, pile number 3, what more do we need to see here? Thank you so much. Candy, so something sweet. It's candy. I'm getting medication. Like popping something like candy. Maybe something we need to ingest that will make us feel better in some way here that will help. 13 is transformation, Scorpio energy. I feel like we have to notice what it is we're ingesting, if it's sweet or if it's toxic and poisonous. Like intaking. What are we intaking? Because I felt like for the first person, there was a lot of there could be a dependency on something, but this person could be intaking that person's energy, and it's not good. So this pair is all about grace. Okay, showing grace. It's about abundance as well, 34. And we have the magic hat. So pulling a rabbit out of a hat, maybe something out of nowhere, like a blessing or a surprise of sorts here. So we might have to, I don't know, like really sort of lean in on our spirituality here to have a blessing show up out of nowhere. Like obviously do what we can, not to be ignorant. And maybe this is the thing, is like this person might be just hoping that the answer sort of pops out of nowhere magically, and Spirit might be saying, like, we have to be assertive to do what we can and take action, proactive action, rather than just counting on just sort of spirits. But I do feel like this is talking about something sort of being blessed or bestowed upon us. So 77 is a master number. That's about trusting the fall, an adventure that arises from deep wisdom, trust of life, and trust of self. So there needs to be a trust of making decisions that are in line with healthy. 86, and we have the dagger and this bottle. So I do feel like this is talking about things maybe not being aligned as best as they can. 86. Star-crossed love. Love thwarted by a malign star. Yeah, it's like the stars aren't aligned. Things didn't quite pan out or work out so much yet in the way that maybe is smooth. There's a lot of challenge here, and I feel like the challenge is in being honest and seeing truths. Oops. So lemon, something got soured. 58. A sour experience. And this is what we know. Is it sweet or is it sour? Like, do we know the difference? Not to ingest anything that is sour unless it's, creating the sweetness. 30, and it's the tarot cards, divination. So again, this sort of, magical energy here. Maybe we're consulting the cards in some way, but Spirit's wanting us to do what we can in like the 3D world to get guidance, and Spirit will guide you and direct you. And we have 73 with the unicycle. So this is spinning our wheels, trying to get balance. There's a lot about having to find balance, and we might have been feeling like we were spinning our wheels, but I feel like there's more control that we can actually have in a situation by identifying what's sweet, what's sour, relying on the grace of Spirit, okay, but taking action where we can and understanding when things don't work out, when things are misaligned, not to force it, to find our way through. But I feel like there's a need to accept some form of truth here, if I got to be honest, okay? So pile number 3, this was quite the reading. I love you very much. And if you are struggling, or someone is struggling with this type of an energy, please go get help, okay? Even if you don't have whatever, buy what they're selling. Go get help. Multiple places, multiple people. Put a whole thing together so we have choices and options of people who know what they're doing, because I do feel like we need help from people who understand this, and I can't give any help here. I'm sorry, I don't know. I don't know about these mental imbalances and this type of stuff, but this is really how it's coming through, but instead of enforcing it and enabling it, I feel like somebody here can not feed that story and start to accept truths, So, beautiful people, this is your reading, and I will see you at the next one. Bye-bye. Hello, pile number 4. You guys picked this stone slab right here, and we're looking at the person on your mind and how it is that they're feeling about you at this time. But before we look at their energy, we're going to take a look at how you're feeling at this time. Okay, so Spirit, clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 4. How are they feeling about the person they came here about, so that they know whether this is their pile or not? Please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 4. Thank you so much, pile 4, for allowing me to tap into your energy, the energy around you at this time. I'm so blessed to be here doing your reading. Guys, I got to use the washroom real quickly. I'm sorry, I should have recorded after. I will be right back. All right, pile number 3. Where were we? Looking at your feelings for your person. Pile, did I call you pile 3? Pile 4. How's pile 4 feeling about the person they came here about? Their feelings for the person they came here about at this time. Clear and concise message in a way that pile 4 will understand how it is that they are feeling at this time about the person they came here about. Thank you, Spirit, for this message. So we have perfectionism. So some Virgo coming through. 37, or the number 10, fixation, ego level, requirement, procedure, serious, severity, precision, and having a unique vision. Number 1, type 1, the perfectionist, instinctive center between control and letting go. Okay. And we have 94, virtue, growth level with equanimity, depth of feelings, detachment, calmness, sensitivity, stabilized mood, emotional mastery. Number 4, type 4, the individualist with emotional center between lack and abundance. Okay. And we have fear. 51, sin, ego level, being afraid, anxiety, worry, dread, scared, and apprehension. Number 6, type 6, the loyalist, thinking center between mistrust and trust. And we have suffering. 25, avoidance. Suffering, emotional pain, frustration, sadness, boredom, limitations, restrictions. The number 7, type 7, enthusiast, thinking center between pleasure and pain. Okay, and then we have mythomania. Interesting, this came out for pile number 3. Mental tenacity. No, mental tendency. I don't know why I said that. 57, or the number 3, stress level, mythomania, imagination, conspiracy, trickery, hypocrisy, storytelling, and workaholic. Interesting. We have perfectionism and workaholic. So I'm getting Capricorn and Virgo energy, earth energy. Type 3, the achiever, emotional center between appearance and authenticity. And we have luxury, 53, sin, ego level, luxury, libertinism, depravity, excess, seduction, without respect, exploiting others. Number 8, type 8, the challenger, instinctive center between strength and weakness. And we have avoidance, 26, or the number 8. Weakness, powerlessness, helplessness, fragility, vulnerability, loss of control, situation of inferiority. Type 8, the challenger, instinctive center between strength and weakness. Okie dokie. And under perfectionism is resignation. 72, 9, feeling helpless, immobilism, fatalism, surrender, submission, renunciation. Okay. Assertiveness and feeling unloved. Okay. 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 This one is an easy one. Okay. So I feel like you have been working a lot. Okay. And what you're working on is understanding your own emotions. When fear is driving, what's creating your suffering? What in your emotions do you have control over, and what can you surrender? I feel like there's a lot of surrendering going on here, okay? Surrendering to what is, and really sort of understanding ourselves so that we could find a state of balance. So we could detach from suffering, detach from feelings of fear, or in this connection where maybe we were feeling unseen or unloved or out of control, because I do feel like there might have been feeling rejected or feeling unloved or feeling this isolation, feeling separate, so this is probably, again, my more ascended pile when it comes to connecting to oneness, not feeling that duality where we're feeling separate from, the person we're connecting with here. But I do feel like it's a process, and I do feel like there's a lot of shadow work being done here. And I do feel like we could certainly be having to find balance between, what is real when it comes to consciousness and what is sort of a mind story that's trying to get by in or trick us into feeling helpless or weak or fragile or whatever, or lose control. Because I feel like we could easily lose control when we start to feed into the fear story. And so I feel like there's a lot of identifying, what is actually under my control? What can I do in order to keep myself balanced, in order to keep myself calm, in order to understand when I am in a state of suffering, because there might be limitations in this connection. There might be frustration, there might be emotional pain, or something feels very restricted when it comes to how this person connects with you. And so I feel like you are assertive, because I think you're asserting yourself in ways that you can create change and difference in regards to doing the work and seeing through the ego or the mind story that tries to trick us to believe certain things about ourselves or certain things about this connection that aren't necessarily true. And so I do feel like we might feel like we're working on finding balance ourselves, but I do feel like this connection isn't providing us with any sort of substance. If I have to be honest, I feel like we're finding our own contentment, our own joy. We're finding it through our own active pursuit. But I do feel like this connection might not be providing us with the luxury that we would want to feel. And so this might make us feel very vulnerable and sort of fragile here. It's like I'm at the mercy of, this person doing whatever they're doing here that isn't sort of fitting the bill, if you will. And it's creating anxiety. It's creating fear. It's creating apprehension. Can I trust this person? Are they committed? Can I commit? Can I trust this? We might feel very sad, like I said, or emotional pain here, feeling limited by other people's actions, and instead of avoiding, I feel like we are confronting by surrendering what we can and looking at what we can do here and which decisions we can do to stabilize. So I say good. That's what I say. Scholar, look at this. Doing the work. Deep knowledge, visionary, realism, erudition, specialist, and concentration. 7 and 5. So 7 is the chariot, integration of shadow. 5 is the challenge, but it's the rebuild. We're rebuilding ourselves, but it's through conflict. Through the conflict of this connection, we're integrating our shadow. Through the challenge, we're finding balance. This is what I really feel here. Okay, so 88 is a master number. This is about a higher calling that is grounded in self-awareness and reverence for life. So self-awareness, not through the ego, but through actual self-observation, through deep knowing, through seeing through, fears, seeing through our suffering. But instead of feeding the suffering or the emotional pain, we can call it out. We know our vulnerabilities. But I do feel like we might feel I don't know, like this situation of inferiority. It's like this person has the upper hand or is calling the shots, or I don't feel at the level of calling shots in this connection. So we might have had to detach ourselves. So you might be detached from this person. Oh, okay. Pile number 4. That's a lot. Let's read what your person is feeling then, okay? Sounds like you've done a lot of work. So I'm expecting to see a lot of progress with this person here. Spirits, for pile number 4. A person on their mind. How are they feeling right here, right now? In regards to pile number 4, a person they came here about. How are they feeling? So I'll read them in a bit, okay? Let's lay them all out. So pile 4 is person. Person pile 4 came here about. Spirits, clear and concise message. Please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message. For the greatest and highest good of pile 4. How is pile 4's person feeling at this time about pile 4 specifically and in this connection? Oh, we got dispute. Feeling that one as well. Okay. So bottom of the deck, we have fundamentalism. Wow. 64. So I'm getting the Hierophant energy. Taurus energy, 64, the number 1. Collective plague. It says conservatism, conformism, integrism, tradition, orthodoxy, and Acadianism. Type 1, the perfectionist, instinctive center between control and letting go. Serenity, 91, virtue growth level, non-judgment, appeasement, patience, sweetness, soul equality, acceptance of feelings. Number 1. Type 1, the perfectionist, instinctive center between control and letting go. Control and letting go. Interesting. And the one that revealed itself here was avoidance, ego level 27 or 9. Dispute, confrontation, villain role, quarrel, breakup, divergency, make a choice. Type 9, the peacemaker, instinctive center between forgetting and asserting oneself. Okay, and then we have anger right above dispute here. 46 or number 1. Sin, ego level. Aggressiveness, irritability, judgment, criticism, bitterness, and conviction. Type 1, the perfectionist, instinctive center between control and letting go. Wow. Okie dokie. So we have 84, integration soul level growth level with loyalty, serving the collectivity, commitment, respect, devotion, faithfulness, and hope provider. 6 and 3. Type 3, the achiever, emotional center between appearance and authenticity. Okay, and then we have hyper creativity, 83, with integration growth level, accepting one's emotions, existing by oneself, originality, resourceful, standing out, self-knowledge, 4 and 2. Type 2, the helper, emotional center between giving and receiving. And we have get judged, number 10. So opposite of this non-judgment, we have get judged, get punished, get blamed, mistaking, being wrong, feeling guilty, get criticized. Basic fear, ego level, 10 and 1. It says type 1, the perfectionist, instinctive center between control and letting go. So we have 4 cards here about control and letting go, and 2 cards about giving and receiving down here. So essence, growth level 101, freedom, liberated, artistic creativity, independence, free will, autonomy, emancipation, and open self-expression. Number 2, type 2, the helper, emotional center between giving and receiving. Okay. Let me read this. What's under fundamentalism? We have strength, Leo energy, and we have abandonment, and we have joy, more Leo energy here. So I'm feeling Taurus, I'm feeling Leo, I'm feeling Virgo, Gemini, Pisces, Aries, and Taurus, Libra. Okay? Yeah. So let me keep going. Okay. Beautiful people. I feel like your person's issue, okay, is one in which has nothing obviously to do with you, which I'm sure you already know, but it's one of an identity, okay? It's their world that they understand, okay? Whatever this might be, a group of people, their already established structure. For some of you guys, it's like, I am single and I enjoy my independence and my freedom, okay? Like, and my singleness. Okay, but not for all of you guys. Some of you guys, it's just this person might have like a family situation, or like, you know, it could even be parental, or like an upbringing or an understanding of who they have to be and what they have to look like and what relationship means. And this has been a big challenge in this person's ability to accept their feelings and admit their feelings and commit to this connection. Because I do feel like this person has been suppressing a lot of their feelings for you, or not allowing themselves to go after this connection. So there's been a lot of restraint. There's been a lot of having to just suppress the truth, you know, the truth of who they are. And so I feel like this person is on a big path here of coming towards what it means to commit to something that is real and authentic, not what it is that they've built up and understood to be what's expected of them from themselves and by other people here. Okay. And I do feel like this person is working through abandonment issues. So again, we all sort of act in a certain way based on when we experience abandonment. Some people say, screw this, and I never want to be, you know, in a position to get abandoned. And so we fight everyone off. And some people cling because they don't want to be abandoned and they want to feel safe and secure. And so this person might have been somebody who pushed people out, who didn't acknowledge, who was like, I could do it all on my own, you know? So I feel like there's this healing or seeing and working through abandonment issues, which created this person's aggressiveness when it came to how they would deal with relationship or themselves or engage. And also the courage that they're having here to face their hierophant or their world or their thing that they've always said was true. I feel like they're confronting this, they're challenging this. And I do feel like this person, and you guys might have experienced a separation, because some of them might feel like abandoned by you. That's only for some of you guys. That might have triggered this need to look at this hierophant that they were very fixed and stubborn about. Because it's like, if they want joy, true joy, they have to look at their authenticity, not at what appears to be, you know, the version of them that's gonna be this empty joy. You know, it's checking off a box here. It's conforming to how they've always sort of adapted, but it's not the true joy. And so I feel like it's really tied to them showing their loyalty and their commitment here to this connection. And so I feel like this person is going through, working through some of those feelings of, I was going to say vulnerability. It's not showing here, but it's because we might feel very insecure about getting judged. And so it's like, if I've always told myself that I was the single person, you know, and now I'm flipping on myself, or I'm flipping on this world, then people are going to judge me. And if it's like I'm putting up with like a commitment here of marriage that it hasn't been fulfilling or bringing me joy here, because I wasn't wanting to abandon the situation. It's like, I don't want to be judged. I don't want to look as the bad guy or somebody here who did something condemning or, feel guilty about it or get criticized. But it made this person feel angry because they were resisting and fighting against their true, authentic desires here. And so I do feel like this person is working through finding peace and also being patient with themselves and navigating through this. But I feel like this dispute is like they're confronting, they're really confronting, they're challenging themselves, they're looking at this Hierophant. They're not wanting to be abandoned from the joy, because I feel like they've tasted your joy, or this connection brought some joy, or they've experienced some form of happiness here, pleasure. And there's also freedom here, which I feel is the big one. Is like, I don't feel this person has felt free in their Hierophant world, even though it might have appeared like it was giving them a sense of control and freedom. It really wasn't. It was really tying them down, because it was, I have to toe the line, or I have to do this because this is what's expected of me, or who I'm saying that I am. But it's really not allowing me to go towards what I want. But that would be the true freedom, And so I feel like they're freeing themselves with this emancipation from any Hierophants that have been chaining them down. And I do feel it is really around the first steps here of this open expression and this accepting one's emotions and this self-knowledge and making a choice. So I feel like this person is making a choice to come forward. I don't see or understand yet with these cards if there's anything here about communication when it comes to telling you this. But I feel like it's revealed and understood by them from further self-knowledge and discovery that they're accepting how they truly feel, which I feel how they feel is, joy in this situation. They feel liberated and free. They feel like it's something they can commit to. They feel like it's something they can devote themselves to. And I feel like there's a lot of hope in what they can accomplish here. It's serving the collectivity. It's like there's a greater purpose. And it's like, I was wrong, or I was doing the wrong action, all because I didn't want to, look like the bad guy or feel guilty or something like this. So acceptance of feelings, accepting one's emotions, and open self-expression. It's really about this surrendering energy that I'm getting, surrendering to how they feel is actually what's freeing them. And I think this person is upset with I think they're upset with something, and I don't know if it's how they've been engaged in the past in this connection, or how they're currently. I feel like their way of being has created a dispute between you and this person, and I think they're feeling angry at themselves. Because I think what they're seeing is like the truth now. And it's like, man, I was against that. I was against the joy. I was fighting for the wrong belief, or the wrong camp, or the thing that was the tradition, or the thing that was ingrained. And now it's like, I'm confronting this thing, and I'm like challenging this thing. And now the more I challenge it, the more I see and understand here. And the more it's like, I'm pissed off at myself for creating this dispute and creating this breakup in some cases, or the quarrels between you and this person. It's like, I made a choice, but the choice was aligned with something else, and now I'm like, find myself alone, or maybe I'm separated from you, or I'm feeling excluded from, like the joy I could have felt with you if I would have been in line in the first place. So big changes here for sure. Okay, this is coming through very clear. Let's read from the divination buttons and see if we could get another layer in regards to how this person is feeling. Look at the strawberry. So it's something sweetness, and we were getting sweetness from here, which is funny because that's the second time I pulled this strawberry with the card of sweetness. And so they definitely see the situation as something that is going to provide them sweetness, whereas whatever they're experiencing here was more of a checking of a box or something that was in line with some tradition. So this one's interesting, you guys, because it could mean a tall, dark, handsome stranger, or it could mean like not good. So let's see. What does it say here? It's like from Coraline. If you guys have watched Coraline, it says, yeah, film Coraline reference to tea leaf reading. So a tea leaf reading. And then it says a giraffe or a hand, a tall, handsome stranger in your future, or treachery. So what I'm getting here, yeah, it's like I said, it's either this or that. It's like I could be this knight in shining armor. I could be this, like a person who goes after the joy, or I could be in the treachery. And the treachery is a choice. And I feel like this person was choosing the treachery at some point. But I feel like they know that they have more control here. Like they have free will to choose. There's an independence here. And I do feel a liberation from the hold of this Hierophant that they're enjoying or finding very sweet here. Oh, look at more sweetness with this cupcake 38 or the number 11. 11 is a very spiritual number. So what's the cupcake? I think it is about being about sweetness as well. It says, someone thinks you're very sweet and beautiful, cherry on top, exceeding perfection. Wow. Yeah. Sweetness, exceeding. And look, free. 72, the bird flying the cage. This person was held by beliefs, by a system and a structure that was put in place for some time and kept alive by their choices. And I feel they're upset at themselves for allowing themselves to, because at some point I feel this person was like fighting to keep that world alive. And it's like flying this cage. And the bird talks about communication, because remember I told you I wasn't sure how to read the communication coming through here. I feel like this person is going to communicate to you, a sense of liberation or freedom that they felt here. And I do feel they're coming towards you here with this bird. Okay. And then we have 28. And look at that, our own shadow self. So 28 is 10, and 10 is all about ends of cycles, transformation, completion. And this shadow is this self-knowledge, because when we understand our shadows, our fears, what's hidden in the subconscious, we tend to make more conscious decisions. And so 28 says, seeing one's shadow side, someone unaware of their dark side. I feel this person was unaware for a very long time. And now there's this, it's like I'm upset at myself that I wasn't seeing that I was the one getting in the way of my own freedom. Because I do feel for a lot of them, they thought this was freedom. This Hierophant, this conforming to this way of being was their freedom in some capacity, or at least it gave them control, but it wasn't giving them happiness. And I feel like they were loyal to that. And now the realization that's like, wow, like I was loyal to that and I was fighting for that, but it was like really a lack of courage to speak my truth. That's more liberating and freeing, speaking, how I truly feel. So we have the picture here, 21. So this could be talking about memories. Let's see, what is 21? So if you guys are apart, I feel this person is, this is an elevator, not a picture. But what I was going to say is if you guys are apart, I do feel like this person might be looking at your pictures. This is an elevator. It says leveling up or leveling down. See how everything's like dual with this person as well? It's like it could be the worst of it or the best of it. The shadow, seeing one's shadow self, not seeing one's shadow self, leveling up or leveling down. It's like the control is in their hands. And that's why I feel like they're not quite have told you, because I think the realization has happened. It's like I see the shadow, I see the decision in front of me. I now know it could go either way, depending on my choices. And why would I choose it to go in a way here that isn't aligned with happiness? That's not freeing. And especially when they're connected to joy and the sweetness and exceeding expectations here in this connection. I think they have a real wake-up call. Another elevator? Or did you guys, there's 2 sets in this baggie, but there's tons. And so to get to leveling up, and this person might have leveled up twice even, because I do feel like there's definitely a leveling up here. It's felt in the cards, okay, and confirmed here by these buttons. And the squirrel, preparation, 29. or the number 11 again. So 1111. Some of you guys might resonate with the twin flame journey. So we got 38, which is 11 and 29. Okay, but 11 is a master number about divine inspiration, the encouragement to keep going. Okay, and the squirrel, like I said, is preparing. This person's preparing to communicate and preparing to make a decision. And they're also leveling up here, which I feel has been in the works for some time. Squirrel, hard work and positivity, preparedness. So yeah, beautiful reading. Pile number 4. I hope this helped you guys. I do feel this is as a result of you being able to do your own shadow work, that this person was able to understand themselves and see their own shadow as well. Because I do feel like both of you guys find sweetness in each other, and I feel like both of you guys had to level up. And this is how twin flame connections work. And it's funny that I saw like a picture, but it could definitely be like a mirror. Like you level up, this person levels up, okay, in this relationship, in order for things to flow, in order for there to be like progress here. This is the groundwork that is required. Okay, 21 is 3, and 3 is all about growth. It's all about relationships and the initial success. It's also Empress, which is unconditional love, divine feminine, being able to give and receive love and understand our self-worth. Okay, and 12 is also Hangman. So, and that's 3. And so Hangman's all about seeing things from a higher perspective, being enlightened, a change of perspective, that we see things completely different. Okay, and 3 is also World, which is talking about an end of a cycle, successful conclusion of a cycle. Okay, and we were seeing 10s here. I do feel like this person's closing out a major cycle successfully that was holding them down to this fundamentalism, this conforming to some form of tradition that's taken a lot of courage for them to face. So you should hear from this person, or at least they will tell you, and you might observe this leveling up. Beautiful angels, I love you very much. I hope this helped you, and I will see you at the next one. Bye-bye. Welcome to the disclaimer. Don't get fooled by people scamming you in the comments section. If you're interested in a private reading, all my contact information is in the description box, and there you will find my website, and that is only through my website can you book private readings at this time. And for those of you guys new to the tarot, tarot does not predict your future. Tarot is not set in stone. Tarot is reflecting back to you a state of consciousness that is something you can either resonate with or not. And so it's very important that you are in tune with your intuition so that you know whether the pile you're picking, the information coming through, is reflecting back to you your own intuition, state of consciousness, your subconscious. And this will be the best way for you to know that the message is indeed meant for you. So if your intuition is not clear or it's cloudy, then you might be tapping into the wrong pile, or information might be coming through that is not dictating whatever your circumstance situation is. So it is important that you work with the divine to develop your intuition. Best way is to sit through the card layout, which I do include with most of my readings, where you can ask the divine to come up with what you'll see, feel, or hear to determine whether the pile makes sense for you. And so you can ask the divine to show you those signs, symbols, synchronicities, either throughout your dreams or throughout your day, and certainly throughout the reading, so that you can be assured that the messages you're tapping into are the right messages for you. If you are drawn to multiple piles with the pick-a-card readings, listen to your intuition. A lot of times energy is interconnected, and in this channel, a lot of times all my piles could be interconnected. So do not feel obligated to only select one or all or none. It is definitely up to you and your intuition. If you are in a pile and it is not resonating, there is no need to continue listening to that pile. If it doesn't resonate, sometimes it gives us perspective so that we know what is resonating for us. So even piles that do not resonate could provide some insight. Keep in mind that if you have strong energy in your presence, other people, situations, that could be quite heavy energetically or strong energetically, spiritually heavy. those might pull through the pile. So it might not be your energy that I'm picking up, but your situation, your circumstance, or people that you're dealing with. It's up to you to keep an open mind in regards to what it is that I'm connecting to, if it is resonating to your story. Do not take any messages that don't belong to you. There will be specific messages that come through for certain individuals, even though the pile might be your pile, but the specific message does not connect to you. Do not take those messages. Only take the ones that resonate for you. It should be the overall energy in that pile that is resonating to your story. It is the gist of that energy that should be overall the story or the energy of the situation, circumstance, or the person that I'm tapping into. If you are unprepared to listen to difficult messages, messages that offer healing, messages that might provide someone else's perspective that we're not quite ready to listen to, it might be a good time to come back when we're fully healed or prepared to listen to messages. My commitment to you is to read the cards with transparency and as much compassion as I can. It is difficult for me to provide you with any guidance in the comments section without knowing your specific situation. A lot of times the piles do come reversed and they might not match the exact description of the reading. And although I am posting the description of that reading, my intention is to always deliver that in which the description talks about. But sometimes spirit comes through with the mere reflection of either something objectively pulling through, some guidance pulling through, or something completely unrelated. And that is not up to me, and I certainly don't select what comes through. But Spirit knows when you will click on whichever video in order for you to hear the messages that are being pulled through. It might just be for one person, and that one person was needing to hear it. So if you are frustrated with that, it's early to tell in a reading whether it is resonating or not, especially if we've sat through the card layout. Again, do not feel obligated to take any messages that aren't for you. You can certainly switch your own situation, circumstance, or energy based on the reading you get. So if a reading does resonate, but you want a different outcome, then utilize the reading in order for you to make conscious choices, different decisions, guide the energy in a specific way that you want it to go. This is why we utilize the tarot and the oracle cards in order for us to be conscious of the energy and make shifts. Energy shifts very fast, and it is formless, and it is not time bound, meaning I could be tapping into present, future, or past situations. If an energy feels like it's an old energy, it's past, you might want to go check out another pile. There could be one that's talking to your current situation, or we could be looking at a future state of consciousness. These readings might not make any sense to you at the time because it is beyond your level of comprehension. You might want to come back to these readings at a later date. That's why all these readings are timeless unless otherwise stated. And so, as I mentioned, it is up to you, depending on when you click on the reading, to know whether it is useful information to help guide you. All of my readings offer a level of healing, whether it is understanding someone else's perspective, if it is understanding our own perspective, tapping into subconscious energies, or looking at objective situations from the point of view of the creator. All information helps us to put the pieces of the puzzle together so that we can make better decisions when we're involved with difficult or challenging people or circumstances. This is the reason I do the tarot. I do not do the tarot so that we can dwell in hurts and in pain. So if we're suffering, we're allowed to feel how we feel. Pain is inevitable. We all suffer from pain, but the suffering is certainly up to us. And my mission is that we release suffering. Undue suffering does not need to persist. If we choose to suffer, it is because we're making a decision to stay in the suffering. The choice is always ours to get out of suffering. And so sometimes we don't like to hear what it is that's being communicated because it might release us or relieve us from stories, from comfort zones, from pains and clutches that we've used in the past in order for us to feel safe, in order for us to remain in our comfort zone. And as I mentioned, healing isn't always easy, so it is sometimes very difficult for us to acknowledge truths because sometimes a comforting lie is what we choose to believe in. I do not feed comforting lies. I will not read information or readings here that provide you a level of comfort and water the truth down. I don't want you to leave here feeling a false sense of security, but I do want you to leave with a sense that I justified your own intuition, your own energy and suspicion, or whatever you were wanting to confirm with the divine. I also want to make mention that I am not everybody's reader. So at times my voice is annoying, even to myself. And sometimes I deliver messages that aren't quite as concise as they can be. Spirit knows which words I would use in order to channel the information that my soul tribe, the people being drawn to the reading, need to hear. So those words are crafted by the design. I don't spend a whole bunch of time trying to analyze. I do know when it feels right, and I do know that sometimes it's a struggle to come up with a word that can define energy. Energy is not words. Energy can't fit into words. And so sometimes these readings could be a lot of repeating the same thing as I'm trying to find the right word. And if you've tried channeling, you'll notice that a lot of people who channel, they do repeat a lot of words until the right word comes through. Sometimes readings, unfortunately, don't make sense until the very end. And we might go down one path only to find that the answer was something else, or that the reading was something else completely. I don't intend this. Some days my channeling is very strong, and other days it is difficult for me to follow. And sometimes, if it is difficult for me to follow, it can make complete sense on your end, but the delivery on my end might sound a little chaotic or confused because I don't understand everyone's situation and circumstance. Keep in mind, these are general readings, and these readings touch a lot of people, a lot of viewers. If you don't connect with my style, if you don't connect with the readings, then I do suggest you go find another reader. There's many on YouTube, and it could just be the reading or the pile wasn't your fit. So you might want to try another reading from my playlist. And I do hope you guys stay, and I do hope to connect with you guys. I do read all your comments. I do try to reach out to you guys, all of you guys. And if I don't, rest assured, I do see your comments, and I send so much love to you guys. I appreciate you guys very much, and I'm so honored to do this journey with you guys. Bless you, and God bless.